What's going on, everyone? You looking to get into RC racing? Well, in this video, I'm going to run through the various kits and classes that you may find in your local area that'll help you get into RC racing the easiest way. We want to make sure that you don't waste your money, spend it on ridiculous things, and get sidetracked. We want to pinpoint and focus on the right way to get into RC racing, the easiest way, and most importantly, the least expensive way. So whether you're just getting into the hobby, or maybe you've owned a couple RC cars, let us hang out and discuss the various kits and classes I feel are the best for beginner RC racers. Now, the first thing you're probably asking yourself, how do I find out which classes are available in my area? Easiest way to do that, go to your local hobby shop, one that sells RC cars, and just ask which racing is around here. They'll often guide you towards a club, the poster that may be near the door, various clubs that are available in your area. This is excellent. You'll be able to pinpoint which cars you need to look at and sort of focus in on that class that has the most amount of racers in it, so that you have a lot of support and that you have many parts available to you, and you can ask as many questions to the other racers to help you feel confident in getting into racing. So with all that said, let's get into it. One of the easiest forms of racing to get into is most definitely Kyosho Mini Zs. These little cars are awesome, highly upgradable, and right out of the box, they perform extremely well. There's a couple different classes, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. They're going to have modified and stock. Nice thing about these cars is you can just pull them out of the box. All you need is AAA batteries and a little charger, and you can essentially race. You may need to change up the tires a little bit, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, essentially for right around $200 to $300, you could be off to the races. Now, as with most forms of RC racing, you will need a transponder. And that's okay. Transponders for Mini Zs are quite inexpensive. They allow you to count your lap times at the local track. It assigns your name essentially to your car, and then you'll be able to hear and see your lap times, and that allows you to compete against other racers and know where you stand. Now, we'll get into transponders for other forms of racing, but the good news is transponders for Mini Z racing are cheap. Now, one of the most appealing things to the Kyosho Mini Z lineup is their scale detail and realism. They are incredibly detailed. They really do try to mimic the original car in any way, and I think they do a great job of it. It's incredible, some of the designs they come out with, and Mini Zs have been around for so long, there's just so much history to them. Now, due to their scale realism, they can really lure you in and make you buy one the second you see them in the hobby shop. But don't do that. Be sure to check out the racing first. Go down to the track if there is one, obviously, and check out and see what cars everybody's running. You're going to start off in stock class, and there's going to be a couple Mini Zs that are going to be the preferred choice to get you into racing. Typically, they're longer and wider. There is a few models available that you're going to want to start off there. They may not have the body you want, but they will have the chassis, the length, and the width that you're going to want to start with. And then from there, you can start off with your tires and, just get into racing. But you just don't want to go out and buy that narrow, short version of the car that you're going to be racing, because it won't handle as well. So it's all about that recon mission, going down to the track, sorting out what people are running, and then that way you're not buying double the equipment to get into the racing. You want to do this right. You're going to notice the recon mission is going to be a constant theme throughout this video. And so it's very important to just do that research first, because this hobby can get up there in price. And we want to make sure that we cut out the clutter and just focus on keeping you racing without getting burnt out, because the funds just aren't there to keep you racing. It's really important. I've seen it over many years RC racing. People get burnt out because they get caught up in the what's best, what's next. Now, depending on the model you buy, some of the cars come with hard plastic drift tires, so you're going to need the softer rubber tires. And that's okay, they don't cost that much, between $10 and $15 for 4, and they last quite a long time. They come in different hardnesses, and you can essentially tune your car via tires. It's the best way, to be honest. Yeah, so if you do happen to get one of the 4-wheel drive models that have hard plastic tires, you just get some tire tape, a couple sets of tires, and I'm sure one of the local racers will help you install your first tire set. There's also many videos available. I have done a video, and yeah, it's very easy to do, and once you do it once, you're okay. You're going to be able to do it any other time. The tires last quite a long time, so don't worry about cost on that. It's a pretty inexpensive consumable part. Next up, you just need some rechargeable AAA batteries. That's it. You can get them on Amazon. A lot of us use these. They work great. Nothing special, just some rechargeable AAAs, and they are quite inexpensive. And from there, you just need a charger to keep you going. And from there, you just need an inexpensive charger, anywhere from $15 to $20 you can start off with. Usually does 4 cells at once. Or you can get something a little more fancy, just under $100. You can get something like this from ISDT. This is what I use. It's excellent. It does AA, AAA, and all different types of battery chemistry. You're going to be working with nickel metal hydride batteries and typically 850 milliamps. Yeah, this charger will do up to 8 batteries at once. It's got a cool little LCD display here. Yeah, it's excellent. So as you can see, anywhere from $20 to $80 keeps your batteries charged, keeps you doing more laps. The excellent thing about these little cars is you can just keep pumping batteries into them and doing laps. It makes you such a good RC car racer in other classes. So yeah, Mini Z's excellent. Strongly suggest looking at it and getting into it. Hopefully there's local racing. You can be doing it all winter, all season typically. And yeah, fine-tunes your skills for other forms of RC racing you may want to get into. I forgot to mention, one of the key reasons I'm suggesting Mini Z racing is because it allows you to learn the racing format, what qualifiers are, what mains are, and how the race day comes together. It cuts out certain elements of maybe cleaning off dirt off your car or adjusting shock oil, things like that you will have to get into in other forms of racing. That's why Mini Z is great. You still have to maintain these cars, however, there's much less of it when you're starting off. And if you really get into it, they are so small you can buy a track for your place if you got the room and practice all you want. Alright, so my next pick, Traxxas Slash. Probably one of the most sold RC cars in RC car history. This thing has got so many people into RC cars, you might even own one, and that's why you're watching this video. So specifically the brushed version, if your local club is doing a class of stock Slash, you can get into RC car racing pretty easily. The nice thing about this is you pull it out of the box, you got to run it the way it is. The only thing you really need is an extra charger and maybe a couple extra battery packs. This one comes with a battery you may not want to use for racing. You're going to want some LiPos and a AC/DC charger. We'll get into that. But yeah, stock Slash, excellent platform. And you can even bash it out in the park, you can run it around and then still go racing with it. The best thing about stock Slash racing is it cuts out the person who has the most money gets the fastest motor and wins. It just levels the playing field. It's all about your driving and your setup, and it really teaches you how to drive. Now with 10 scale racing, the transponders do cost a bit more. You may want to look into during your recon mission if your track has transponders that you can borrow during racing. Some tracks have that. Typically that is going away, and you do have to pay about $140 for a transponder. You can find them used. They're usually around 80 or 100. They do hold their value, but yeah, you will need a transponder for RC racing 10 scale, and that's just kind of how it goes. Next up, you're going to want to get a better charger that comes with the kit. Preferably an AC/DC charger, so that if you're racing outdoor where there is no AC power, you can then power it from a car or battery, a generator. And the AC/DC just kind of allows you to charge in different scenarios and also charge your batteries much quicker. You can usually get something for around $70 to $100 that lasts you many years, so it's pretty good. Next up, you're going to want to get a LiPo charging bag. Most tracks will not let you charge LiPo batteries unless you have one of these LiPo sacks. So definitely throw that into the cost of RC racing. It's definitely a must, and it's very important for safety. Never charge your batteries without one at home or at the track. It is extremely important. Next, you're going to want to buy a couple different battery packs. You can get them for around $30 to $50. You're going to want to add that to the price. You're going to want at least 2 batteries so that you can be charging one while you're running. Usually there's enough time in between races to work with 2 batteries. You just got to make sure you're on point with your charge times, keeping them boosted. So as you can see, it's about $500 to $600 depending on how you cut it with Stock/Racing. You could, of course, look for something used and save yourself quite a bit of money. Definitely ask the guys around the track if they got anything used. It'll help you out. But yeah, about $500 to $600 and you can get into Stock/Racing. All right, moving along. One of my favorite classes and one of the oldest classes of RC racing, off-road, two-wheel drive buggy. These are rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive buggies. They are probably one of the better classes for you to get into if you plan on doing specifically off-road racing. These are often raced on carpet and dirt and also AstroTurf in Europe. So pretty interesting. There's a couple different kits you can get. Team Associated has an offering called the RB10. It's based on some of their older buggies, but it's a great platform to get into two-wheel drive buggy racing. Now, it is an RTR. It comes with a brushless motor. It comes with a good battery. It's essentially one of the better kits out of the box if you're going to run two-wheel drive buggy to look into. There's also another offering from Serpent. We'll check that out in a second here. There it is. Yeah, so right around $250 to $300, you can get a two-wheel drive buggy. It does come with a brushless motor though. So during your recon mission, you want to make sure whether they're racing stock motors only and what that entails. You don't want to buy one of these RTRs and find out you need to buy a stock motor. This is actually one of the main reasons I'm making this video. It is really hard for some folks to get into RC racing with all of these different classes and confusion. Somebody who's just getting into this hobby, they have so much to take in and learn that adding extra things like that motor doesn't work for this class and what have you is super annoying to people and very discouraging. So we're just trying to cut out the clutter and get you into mainly stock class racing, and hopefully you can get a kit that the electronic speed control and the motor that it comes with is good enough for you to not have to figure out how to change that and what you have to do in order to fit into a certain class. You really want to just make this as easy as possible for people and allow them to get to know the hobby without having to break the bank right away. So once again, you're going to need a transponder, and like I said before, make sure you check out the track if they have loaners to cut the cost down. You're going to need an AC/DC charger. Definitely look into that. And again, you're going to need a LiPo sack for that safety. And don't forget 1 to 3 batteries. Depending on which RTR you pick up, it may already come with a decent battery, so you might only need 1 or 2. And as you can see here, you're right around $600 all in, and that should get you into two-wheel drive buggy racing. And as I said before, it's my favorite because I honestly believe it teaches you how to drive all the other forms of racing much better. Similar to Mini Z or any on-road racing, two-wheel drive buggies are very twitchy and they teach you how to drive. So it kind of sets you off on the right foot for all other forms of racing. Now let's quickly go through the difference between buying an RTR version and just going all in and buying a kit version. If you decide you want to race 2 or 4-wheel drive buggy, this is roughly the same cost. So these kits, they only come as a kit. They do not come with tires and wheels. Just a couple examples from X-Ray, Associated, and Losi. These are typically the higher end. There's also other brands. Mugen has one. There's a couple different. But yeah, you're looking at about $350 to around $500 for just the kit. No electronics, no radio, no paint, no tires, no wheels. You of course need your transponder still, so that's the thing. You're going to run up to about 140. You need a charger again, same things you need in the others. the lipo bag, of course, and then there's a difference. You need a radio. It's about $150 kind of starting off to get you in the door. So that's an additional cost. And, you know, Futaba, Sanwa, they've got some good ones. You're going to need an ESC and motor. That's going to be another additional $150 bare minimum to upwards of $400. This is the Just Stock combo from Hobbywing. It's excellent to get in the door. You can program it a bit too. You're going to need some different batteries with 4mm bullet connectors. You can kind of get around that a little bit by setting up a system with connectors, but yeah, you're looking at around $40 to $60 for bare minimum 2 shorty packs. You're going to need some wheels, typically come in packs of 4. So you're going to need a set of front and rear, and then you're going to need some tires as well. So depending on the track you're running on, it's all part of that recon mission. Make sure you get a good set of tires to start you off with. But yeah, the price gets up there. You're also going to need some paint, at least a couple colors to paint your first Lexan body shell. And yeah, it can get up there pretty quick. Now, as you can see here, we're at $1,100. It adds up pretty quick. I haven't even added a servo yet, so easily $1,200. I would strongly suggest looking for some of the top racers in the class you're looking to get into, and just go ask them if they've got anything used that they're looking to get rid of. These guys are always switching up stuff, and you'll end up with something decent to start you off on the right foot for sure. Next up, if your local area has Tamiya touring car racing, you're definitely going to want to look into that, especially if you don't like dealing with dirt. Touring cars are super fun. They teach you how to drive really good. And the Tamiya classes are often using this TT02 chassis. Now, this is the Type R version. It comes with bearings, oil-filled shocks. Try to look for that. Does not come with a body. And that's kind of the exciting thing. You get to pick any body you want. So these kits don't typically come with electronics, so you're going to need a radio again. You're also going to need a transponder. You're also going to need the charger, the LiPo sack, and you're going to need to look into batteries, roughly the same price. Paint for your brand new Lexan body. This class is super fun, and they kind of limit it so you can really learn how to race properly and not break the bank. Now, depending on the club you're in, you may need specific tires for that club. But all in, you're usually under the $500 mark or right around there to get into on-road touring car racing, specifically in the Tamiya class. The other classes can get up there pretty quick. So start off with Tamiya, learn how to drive, learn setup, and then move on from there. All right, now that we've glossed over a few different classes you could potentially get into, I'm going to give you a couple other tips to set you off on the right foot. You got to ask yourself, do you like dealing with dirt? Are you the type of person that wants to be in a dirt environment where you got to constantly clean off your car and deal with dirt or mud? If the answer is no, then look at on-road racing, Mini Zs and on-road, or potentially carpet racing off-road. You're going to definitely want to ask yourself this question before you dive in and buy something. The next thing you're going to want to do is when you do the recon mission, which is the most important thing, go to the races a couple different times, pay attention, try to pay attention to the mains and who qualifies in the highest classes, and then look for those people, go talk to them. If they're easy to talk to, or if it's the type of family that's out there helping everybody, talk to them. They may have a spare car available. They're going to set you off on the right foot. Typically in RC, people just want to help each other. You'll see automatically who's at the track, who's putting in work, and who's helping everyone. So definitely go over there, talk to them, and you might walk away with a really good package for much less money and get you into racing. That person will also probably help you with little technical issues you're going to have. So don't be shy, get out there and ask any of the racers what you should do, get some different opinions. But I feel in this video, I've set you off on the right foot to get into RC racing. If you're curious about it, definitely go to the track, go to the hobby shops, ask many questions, and don't just buy something right away. Make sure you spend at least 2 to 3 days at a track asking a lot of questions and making sure you know what you're getting into, and so that you don't do it 2 or 3 times. I've seen a lot of people quit racing because they didn't do the research in the beginning, and they got super annoyed that they needed all this extra stuff and nobody told them. So do some research. If you're a tech junkie, you're going to love the hobby. It's amazing. It's an excellent hobby for young developing minds. If you have a child and you want them to become an engineer at some point or something technical, it's excellent for that. So, yep. Get into the hobby. It's a great hobby. I love it. I've kept me out of trouble my entire life, and I strongly suggest looking into RC cars. All right, RC homies, thanks for stopping by. I hope you get into the hobby. If you're just stumbled across this video, I'm really just trying to help everybody get into this the easy, cheapest way and have a lot of fun. That's the most important thing, and I think we've lost the plot in the hobby, constantly upgrading and making it super complicated. So let's get back to grassroots and grow the hobby. Peace.